Good day everyone, welcome to this week's edition of the Goes to 11 Vise Squad, brought to you by Sea Run Fly and Tackle. For the next few months anyway, we're going to switch gears a little. We're going to start tying some salmon flies. The next couple months will be for coho and chum. Definitely out of my comfort zone, not something that I would tie as I live in the prairies, not in BC, but I guess we'll do some learning together with it all. So this week we're going to start with this little pattern that Rick found. He's a handy guy that way. He finds all sorts of stuff for me to tie. So we'll get started here with this is a 1/0 Up Eye Salmon Hook. Get that in the vise there. The thread today is going to be, it's a fire orange thread. This is by Montana Fly Company. I found it's the other day. It's a 3/0. Shows up really good with the UV light. So we're going to start working our way towards the back. And we'll wind that thread just about to where the barb is on the hook. Right about there. Now we're going to use a Maribou tail. When you use Maribou, it's always good practice to pinch the tips of it off. I don't know how well that'll show up. I don't know if you can see there's some really fine tips at the end, and those tips don't move all that well in the water. So what you want is it to look like that. So if you just take them and you can pinch them off. Wherever they break easy is kind of where you want to pinch them. So we'll take that tail and make it, I don't know, 2/3 of the hook length maybe. If you want a shorter tail, definitely tie a shorter one in. If you want a longer one, tie a longer one in. All up to you. So we're going to wind our way up to about just a little, maybe 2/3 of the way up the hook with that feather. We'll lash it in really good. We'll cut the stem out. And then what I've like to do is just really go up and down that a couple times and really bind it in. And you'll see when we get the next part on, this all kind of shows up really well under UV light. Really makes it pop. I don't know how well that really turns up on the camera. At any rate, the next part we're going to use for the body is this is kind of a holographic Mylar product. Pretty flashy stuff. So this stuff comes with a core inside of it. So when you snip it off, you'll have to take the core of it out. And then what I like to do is take the fibers and just kind of tease them apart at the back end. So you run that over your hook. Like so. And if you leave those fibers that you've kind of turned loose back over the point of the hook, it gives a little flash in the tail. So grab a hold of that real tight so it doesn't spin, and put some good securing wraps in there. Like so. And we'll grab a whip finish tool. Put 2 or 3 turns just to lock that thread in. Like so. We'll snip that out. Next we're going to grab some Solarez bone dry or any UV glue, whatever you've got to use. Head cement would work as well. This is just a little quicker. So I'll cover that whole wrap in bone dry. So now we'll take that same orange thread and we'll go back to where we started, or where we ended that feather. And I found that with this stuff, if you just do some loose wraps to start and then get into your tighter wraps, it doesn't spin that Mylar around the hook so bad. So we'll want to just get some good tight wraps on there, bind it down. Now the front here we'll take, I've got an old pair of scissors that I like to use, not my good scissors, just because this stuff's a little hard on your blades. Cut that out of there, like that. And then just wind over all those loose ends, tidy them all up. So next we're going to grab some, this is kind of a coral or orangey colored, peachy colored chenille. So we'll take a piece of that and tie that in just ahead of the Mylar. And we're going to wind this into a ball. Just a couple, 4 or 5 turns around there. Just a little ball of chenille, and then tie that in like so. Next we're going to grab, this is a kind of a medium blue saddle hackle feather, and I've stripped off part of the barbs here just so we can tie it in. Now feather always has a natural curve to it, so I like to tie it curve to the back so that when you wrap it around the hook shank, it keeps all the feather barbels kind of pointing the right way. Snip that stem out of there. And you just want to, as you turn it, you just want to kind of keep them all pointing to the back and not overlapping themselves too much. So you might have to just kind of hold them forward. So 3 or 4 turns, whatever you feel, however big your feather is, however thick you want that collar to be. And then we'll snip the remainder out of there like that. Now I like to grab them all and all pointed to the back, and then I'll wrap up right up to that ball of chenille, and that'll keep your collar all kind of pointed to the back like so. Alright, so now I'm going to take some of this crinkly flash. It's kind of a pretty shiny stuff. This is pink to match the tail, and I'm going to grab 10 or 12 of these strands. And I'm going to lay it on the top of the hook there, and maybe halfway back to where the tail is. Tight, and then we'll take the remainder and tie that right over top. Like that, working our way back just to keep everything nice and tight, and then we'll just even that up and trim them out of there so they're all more or less the same length. Like that. Next we're going to take some bucktail. This is a natural bucktail, off one of the whitetails that we shot a couple years ago. And we're going to take just a little clump, not a huge wing on this fly. Just a little clump of that bucktail. And we're going to pull all the fines and short hair out of the back end. You can stack it if you want. If you don't want to, if you want to leave them kind of sparse and raggy at the end, that's good too. Get good movement in the water. If you want to stack it, by all means. So I'm going to leave them. Let's see. apart and get them all evened up a little better. Like that. Now when I measure this, I like to measure it right to about the back of the tail, more or less. You can see that on there. And then we're going to tie it in backwards. So I'm going to grab that, where that was is more or less about there. And I'm going to make sure that that is where the front bit of thread is going to be. You don't want to crowd the eye on it, so you want to be a little behind the eye. Like that. And then when we fold that back, it'll be more or less to the back of the tail. So here, where we've left that flash, there was a little bump, and that's, I kind of leave that there on purpose, just so that when I wrap the bucktail in there, it gives me a good place to stop it, and then the head will be a little more even than overstacking it. So we'll tie that in good and tight and kind of wrap over top of those butt ends there. And come right to the back. Get all this hair kind of lined up. And kind of hold it and fold it really tight. Got some short ones in there, but that's okay. And then we want to just kind of build a head out of that and just keep wrapping. Alright, well, what fun would it be if the memory card didn't fill up? Anyway, so what we'll do is we'll continue to wrap that head up and just build a nice base for your head. I'm going to grab a whip finish tool and we'll tie that off. Next, what we'll do is we'll grab some of these holographic eyes. Got a page of them here. I got 3 different colors today. We're going to use yellow just for something different other than red. So this is, the eye is 4 mil or 3/16 of an inch is what I'm using on this one. So what we'll do is we'll just lay that right on the side of the head. Sort of right in the middle of the thread wraps there. And I'll take that Solarez bone dry. And I'll just put a little dot on the back side and cure it, and that'll hold that there while we place the other one. Just make sure that these are about the same height this way, and then that they're even front to back, just so they're kind of symmetrical on there. I'll take that bone dry again and just a little blast there. Now that shouldn't fall off. So we're going to take some Solarez Thin and we're going to build the head up with that. I like to not do too thick a layer all at once. I find it doesn't cure very well. It's hard to manage and keep symmetrical. And we'll just keep working our way around with that. So as every week we do a little giveaway. So whoever can answer this week's question correctly below will win a few of these flies and a few others as a rule. This week I'm going to point you all towards one of our other pro staff, John, and he shot a video the other day of him fishing out on the river, and he was using a bingo bug, so that'll be in that video. And the question will be, how fast was the wind blowing that day when he was trying to chuck bugs in it, and had some success, which was good to see him catching on those lucky bugs or bingo bugs. So whoever can answer that first will win, like I said, a few of these. If you like the video, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell beside it. You'll catch all our updates. We do run these segments once a week. I hope you all enjoyed it. And till next week, tight lines everyone. Thanks.